1st. This 5 o'clock hour is dedicated to swimming, biking, and running. 40 years of Ironman. Yeah, that guy right there, Gordon Haller, is the first ever Ironman triathlon winner. He'll be sitting down with Mr. Bob Babbitt Friday at, is it 3 p.m. or 2 p.m.?
3.
Excuse me, Sunday at 2 p.m. or 3 p.m.? Sunday at 3 p.m. Check out that conversation. But Mr. Babbitt, kind enough to let Gordon stop by here. The first ever Hawaii Ironman champion is speaking at the Triathlon Club event this Sunday. You can find out more info at triclubsandiego.org. But right now, he is here with us. You are the original Ironman. It just so happens you actually like Marvel Comics, right?
I do.
And who's your favorite? The Iron Man. We did that as a joke, and it turned out to be spot on.
Was it.
First of all, can you tell people how old you are?
I'm 67.
And when you participated in that first Ironman, you were
27.
27
and a half.
27 years old. Take us back to that day. What do you remember from that day?
Well, first of all, it was gloomy, cloudy, rainy, cold. Well, relatively cold for Hawaii. Sparse crowd on the beach. There were probably, well, there might have been 50 or 60 people there with the 15 that were
no fanfare.
Competing. Yeah, no fanfare whatsoever. A few fans, but not much fanfare.
15 people in the field?
Correct.
So when you crossed the finish line, did you realize that you were did you think 40 years later I'd be sitting here talking about this event?
I didn't think about anything 40 years from then, but I certainly didn't think it would be like this.
And since then, how many have you competed in there?
17 of those in Hawaii.
And how many overall in your life?
23.
So basically, you stay in shape year-round, year to year, right?
Pretty much.
Do you ever have a dead period and say, hey, I'm going to shut this down and just let my body rest?
Well, I kind of get that decided for me. If I get an injury or something, like last year when I tore a tendon in my shoulder and had surgery, or 10 years ago when I had my hip replacement, but things like that crop up, and then you get well and everything's fine.
So you're going to go back?
Of course.
And celebrate your 40-year anniversary?
Yep.
What are your objectively? What can you do now that obviously you can't match that time? You just want to be number one in your division, right?
Well, I'd like to be up there. I don't know that I'd ever be number one. My problem is I don't run nearly as well as I used to. That's what I wanted on before.
Because of the hip?
Well, no, just being older.
Yeah, well, that does happen. That's worse than that, right?
I still have good leg speed. I just don't have the endurance because if I do as many workouts as I need to get in that kind of shape, I break down. Right. So I try not to. But I hope to swim as fast and ride as fast as I did that first year.
So tell us about what's a workout. I mean, help us. As a senior athlete, I hate to use that word because you look like you're 20 years younger than me. But as you get older, how do you rein in your workout regime so you can stay maximum fit?
Try to swim 3 days a week, ride 3+. The plus is a bonus day if I get to ride extra sometime. Run 2-3 times a week, core 5 days a week, and one of those is probably a weight workout. I do multiple workouts, they call them bricks, Monday through Friday, and then I do only one long workout in biking or running on the weekend.
Throw in a little nutrition and you got it beat, right?
Well, that's the theory.
The history of this sport has military roots, does it not?
Yes, it does.
And as a veteran, can you appreciate that more?
I can. I was in the Navy 24 years.
So speak to that a little bit. I mean, what's the military connection?
Well, if you go back in the chronology of all this thing, I won the draft lottery in 1969, so I had to go in the service. I picked the Navy, went to OCS. My first duty station was Hawaii. And so before I got there, I was thinking my running career was over, being competitive and all that, because I was actually pretty good before that. But then I realized that you could run 24 hours a day in Hawaii. You run in your shorts at 2 in the morning, no problem. So I went from running 150 miles a month to, that was in September of 72. In October, I went to 300. In December, I went to 458. And in January of 73, I ran 500 miles that month and started winning races. And I was runner of the year 3 times in Hawaii.
Safe to assume that you have a higher pain threshold than the average Joe?
I certainly did then.
You don't have an off switch or a I quit switch, do you?
No, but I have a back off switch sometimes when it gets decided for me. My body breaks down and you have to take a nap once in a while.
The 40 years of Ironmans now. And so the sport has evolved considerably. Take us, what's the biggest change from '78 in your opinion? Technology.
The bikes have gotten so much better than they were. I mean, my bike the first year, and my brother still has that bike. I have all the bikes I ever rode in the Ironman. And that first bike weighed about 32 pounds. And now, I think my bike now, my road bike now, carbon fiber, weighs about 13 pounds, 14 pounds, whatever, close to the limit of how light you can be, UCI illegal.
And the sport's becoming Olympic mainstream. I mean, you have to feel really good that you've been there from its infancy to now it's an Olympic sport.
It is kind of satisfying to know that I had a part in making it grow like that.
When you're walking the sands of Hawaii, do the memories come flooding back of that moment in '78, or does that just seem like ancient history?
Well, if I were to do it on Oahu, I'm sure it would. And by the way,
because now it's moved to Kona, right?
One of the original guys, Dave Orlowski, is actually doing a reenactment of that first one on Oahu on Sunday.
Wow!
I just talked to him yesterday on an interview.
I mean, do you ever have a moment in a race where you say, I don't want to do this anymore? Or do you just power right through that?
Well, I always have moments where I don't want to do it anymore, but I keep doing it anyway. Just like my first marathon in 1972, I got to 21 miles and said, I'm never doing this again. And then I got done with the race and went to the awards ceremony, and there's like 400 people in the gym and nobody was smoking. I thought, well, this must be the right sport. So I signed up for another one.
All right, we have, I guess I want, to me, the theme is never say die, never quit. We have a pair of Ironman athletes that you'll recognize who were in the studio, and they were talking about crawling to the finish line. Can we roll that? Do we have that sound?
When you go that deep within yourself and you listen to that voice that says don't quit, and just you keep finding a way to find more energy, there's no way you don't feel like you've won something big.
What's the one trait you all share? Is it just mental toughness?
No, I think having fun too. You know, we're all crazy. I think there's a bit of obsession. I would say obsessive.
You were in that video.
The one with Julie Moss, yeah. I was in the video.
So speak to that. I mean, what's the difference between powering through it and putting yourself in danger? When is it right to quit? Is that a fair question?
No, it was just sorry. There is a time to quit when you have to be really tuned into whether the pain is just pain or it's a damaging, injurious pain. And sometimes it's just not smart to power through it.
Last question. CrossFit's become the rage. Your advice to people who are training, what are your training tips to the weekend warrior?
Well, don't be a weekend warrior. I think you need to work out way more often than the weekend. Even if you just throw one more workout during the middle of the week, because your body improves over 4 days and then it starts to get worse after a hard workout. And you need to be working out at your peak each time instead of back when it's back down here, then, because it's too easy to get injured there. And you don't want to do it too soon either, because then you get injured because you're not recovered from the first workout.
I could talk to you all day long. You're going to be talking to Bob on Saturday, right?
That is correct. Well, Sunday. Well, Saturday too.
Saturday, but you're going to talk to him on Sunday. That's going to be on .org and all the places for people to watch it internationally, right? Bob, again, real quick.
Go to the Ironman Facebook page, or
we got it up here.
Yep.
All right, that's Sunday at 3 p.m. Mr. Babbitt, thank you for sharing Gordon with us. Gordon, it was an honor to meet you.
My pleasure, Paul.
This 5 p.m. newscast is now over. The 6 p.m. show starts right this very second.